In 1727, Professor Johann Heinrich Schultz discovered that the chemical silver nitrate darkened when exposed to light. Later, in 1814, the French inventor Joseph Niepce created the first photographic image using a device known as a camera obscura. However, after a long 8 hours of light exposure, the image unfortunately faded. This problem was later resolved by Louis Daguerre's image that was produced on a silver-copper plate, which prevented the image from fading. Then in 1913, the first 35mm stills camera was developed, opening up photography to the general public for the first time. Jump to 1948, and Edwin Land launches and markets the Polaroid camera, creating a new and popular realm of photography. Kodak later introduced the first professional digital camera in 1991, which contained a 1.3 megapixel image processing sensor. Since then, digital has taken over, and analog has begun to see the end of its days. Or has it? In recent years, film photography has been on the rise once again. We decided to investigate why, despite the ease and convenience of digital photography, that analog has seen a resurgence. In order to do this, we visited Film Never Die and the Fox Darkroom.
Hi, I'm Gary Wong. We run a place called Film Never Die, where we focus on not only selling cameras and film, but also making sure that you get the best experience and try to build a community around what we do, film photography.
How long has Film Never Die been around?
Film Never Die has been running since 2011, starting as an eBay shop, and slowly became a garage, and then now we have a physical shop on Burke Street. So Film Never Die pride ourselves as a place where we don't just sell you cameras and film and say see you later, but we really want to invest in your journey, really build a community and have the ethos of doing things together. So we often do like free photo walks, exhibition, and also classes where we can come together, learn together, and really nurture each other in all their photography journey, and eventually want to exhibit and publish together.
Why do you think there's been this recent rise in the use of film?
The recent rise in popularity in film is due to a few different factors. For me personally, I feel like to shoot full frame today, 2018, you need to spend like a few $1,000s to buy a good camera, a good lens, and that good gear eventually probably is going to cost not too much, just because it's electronic, it's this disposable age where we live in. But if you live in a, if you invest in a film camera, that might cost you $300-400, and you can start shooting beautiful full frame photos again. And truthfully, how many friends do you have that actually bought the latest gear and just to sit them on the shelf collecting dust? So for me, it's about recycling, reusing, and repurposing old technology that still produce amazing images.
Do you think there is a future in film?
I definitely hope so, as the name implies, Film Never Die. But I think there's beauty in analog. Like vinyl, for example, we got superb digital audio, but people still love the sound of analog. And I felt like analog photography or film photography really give you or distill the photo imaging process into its essence about aperture, shutter speed, ISO, composition, and off you go.
Tell us a bit about yourself and what you do at the Fox Darkroom.
My name's Gus and I manage the Fox Darkroom for members. We're a community darkroom based in Melbourne's Inner West, and we're open for people to come through, develop their film and print their negatives and do anything they want to do. It's about I grew up developing film in my backyard and developing film in my laundry. Even when I first moved to Melbourne, I was developing film on the balcony of a pretty crappy share house, and I started coming in here a couple of years ago to sort of just do that sort of stuff, do a bit of developing, a bit of printing I couldn't do at home. And there's something addictive about being around other people who have been doing it, and you're around people who, they might be just starting out. We have members who have been printing for 30 years, 40 years or something. We have members ranging in ages from 18 years old all the way up to 60 something years old.
How long has the Fox Darkroom been up and running?
So we've been going since 2014. Tom Goldner is the name of the person who started this place and still owns and runs this place to this day. He started it originally as a darkroom in 2014. He wanted somewhere that he could sort of come and, develop his own work and print his own work, and he didn't really find that there was much of an ability to do that in Melbourne.
So, why do you think there's been this resurgence of film photography?
I guess you've sort of seen it with everything. Like, I think a lot of people who grow up in the digital realm and people who are sort of used to stuff happening really quickly, there's something to be said about having to like wait for stuff to happen and like learning a technique that's a little bit sort of like of the past, I guess, or a technique that is a little bit maybe more hands-on than the way that we'd normally do things. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to say. I mean, personally, I never got out of film. Like, I sort of always shot it, so I'm not entirely sure what's sort of bringing people who've never shot it back into it now. But I kind of imagine it's for the same reasons why I never stopped shooting it, you know? It's the look of it, it's the way you can manipulate it for certain looks or effects, or even just holding sort of the film in your hand, or better yet, holding a darkroom print in your hand is a really, really beautiful way to actually get tactile with an art form.
Do you think there's a future in film photography?
Look, I kind of hope so. It's hard to say, you know, like things sort of come and go and people get into stuff and they get out of stuff. There's definitely a really, really big thing with film at the moment. Like, there's a lot of people coming to shoot for the first time. There's a lot of people who maybe shot it for a long time and are coming back to it. I like to think that film itself, it holds a certain element that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else, that we're never really going to be able to recreate. Like, I don't think we're anywhere near being able to create an 8x10 transparency on digital cameras, like, or we're even like a 4x5 or even 6:7. Like, these are all sort of formats that just give a totally different look to imagery, and I don't think we're anywhere near being able to get that sort of a look on a digital camera. But with that being said, like, you know, things come and go, and for our sake, I hope that people still get into it, and more people get into it, more people want to learn how to print in the darkroom and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just have to wait and see, I guess.
And so, despite our progress with digital, there still seems to be a place for film. And for now, it's here to stay.